Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm really glad to be here to talk to you about publishing to X. A little warning before we start. I know my English accent's not that good, but I'll do my best to make my presentation as understandable as possible. First of all, so my name is Nicolas Boisvert. I'm a fresh new Elixir enthusiast. I work as a full-stack developer for Rum and Code and as a development manager at ARM Collection Agency, both in Shawinigan. I love open source, I love contributing, so if any of you looks for contributors for your project, I would love to take a part of it, just hold out me. So you have a few of my links if anyone is interested. You don't... Okay. Before I start, why should we publish packages? Last month I wanted to use Mirago's Accent, which is a translation app, a great translation app by the way, but I couldn't use it with my Laravel's project, since it didn't provide support for it. I decided to improve my Elixir scale by implementing it myself. Thing is, I quickly realized that this was a larger concern than I thought. No Elixir packages provided support for PHP's associative array, which makes sense. So I started writing it inside of Accent, but this was not the way to do it. I could have done it, but I would have been forced to mix PHP parsing logic inside of a translation app, which doesn't make sense at all. Things were clear that I had to write a package that does everything I need. So why should we publish packages? So what does it gives more than concern mixing? It ensures that a package can be reused in different projects simply by adding dependencies. It ensures the maintainability and stability of complex features without re-implementing them with versioning. Developing a package outside of a project will allow you to think of its implementation in more of on an abstract way, and the unit test will be focused on the package precisely and without any context that could have altered its main functions, basically. So now, how do we publish packages? An important part of packaging features is continuous integration. While some of you may be familiar with it, it becomes even more important when we talk about open source features, because you became sort of responsible of your package. You place a stamp with your seal of approval on it. It has to be great, but most important, it has to be stable. To reach this, there are some techniques. Here are a few of them. So unit test is, on my own, the most important. Writing your unit test for your packages will ensure that any external contributors will not break your package. This is easy. As an additional layer to this, code coverage is there to ensure that you are really testing the hell out of your code. So one untested function could easily make the whole package crash. I'm sorry. And all of this attached to automated build will run compilation, file format test, unit test, and code coverage, and every time people pushes modification and updates into your packages. So, X's versioning follows the semantic versioning, which is the most common. It has, I will explain it quite fast for those who are not maybe familiar with it, but it has three digits, which should be incremented under certain rules. Like the right part is the patch one. You increment the patch part when you have bug fixes to do, but everything is backward compatible. The middle part must be incremented when you add new features, but everything is still, as I said, backward compatible. The major part should only be incremented when there is incompatible API change, new features, and bug fix, but only when there are incompatible API change. If people rely on a specific version and you push a major version or anything, and they add a bad version dependency, the old package could easily break their project. So it must be important to specify this carefully. The other thing, the mix.exs file. Here's an example in my file. I don't know if it's big enough. Okay. There are some requirements for to be able to publish your package. You have to specify the name of your package, of course, the version, which is also a string. The source URL is not required, but highly recommended since it will route to your source code. The package part is a keyword list. I extended it in another function, but it has to provide licenses. It's mandatory that you include the licenses of your package. So mine is MIT. You have to include the maintainers. It's not mandatory, but recommended. You have my name, of course, and links for which is a map of any links that could be interesting. So I only included my GitHub. And then now the publish part, which is the climax of the process. I'm glad that Timotheus came before me because he talked about the documentation, which will be generated by the publish packages and will make X able to display a beautiful documentation of your package. So how do we package? It's pretty simple. In fact, there's nothing more simple like that. You have first to be registered to the X package manager. You can register online at x.pm/signup, or you can register with your terminal with mix X user register. And once it's done, you have to be authenticated locally. So you run mix.x.user auth, you enter your login password, and you are authenticated for all the publish that you will do. And then when you are ready to push it, you only have to write mix x.publish, and you can publish the same version within 1 hour. If you make any mistakes and you don't want to have to increment the version, you have 1 hour with it. So before, I wanted to show you the basic of the process, which is, for example, I won't be able to publish it back because the version is already published, but it's only to show you what it will give you. So at first, if I write mix.x.publish, I have all my file, and if I'm ready to publish, a little some sort of dump of the files, type Y, and the docs will be generated, my private password. It will publish, but it will fail since my package is already published on this version. If I increment the version, I will be able to push without any problem, but I won't do it. So if I go ahead and look at the doc folder, I have all of the module HTML file which represent the documentation for local use, and the file will also be pushed to X as a documentation of your package. So that's pretty cool to have a look to it, and I'm glad to know now that how to document my code because it's not documented at all. So it's basically as simple as that. Thank you everyone, long live Elixir, and I hope you found it interesting.